Hello, it's Friday, the lunch hour here at RCO Network. This is Rob Morales, RCO Network. Good people, better business, discovering the best to you. So every Friday we bring you a little bit about money, your finances, your wealth, building up everything, and this week, getting to know a little bit about insurance. So if I may, please welcome my guest. We have to come up with his nickname, Mr. Mario Garay, right? Is that right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's right. Here, he's coming at you out here. Now, let me adjust his camera. He's looking mighty fine without camera adjustments, but we have to go there anyway. There he is. Looking better and better every day. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How's
that
it going?
cut off real quick. So we're here on Fridays talking about money and things that help you, and so we're here. And I lost track of what I was saying, but that's okay because it's Friday. It's the end of the work week. You know, everything was hustling, bustling this week, and I think we need to take off our, unbutton that top button on the pants there and let things loose a little bit. So Fridays, we're here to bring you everything on the lunch hour about finances, about your money. If you like what you're seeing and you want to make a comment, go ahead and put those in the comments section. We'll give you some help. This week, we're kind of leading off of stocks. I might have Satoshi on to talk about your Bitcoins and bit change. He might be joining us a little bit later, but we have Mario here to talk about insurance. How you doing, sir?
Good. Happy Friday to everybody.
It is Friday, yes.
A nice wet one.
Oh, yes. Is that a pun? We don't want to go there. It's Friday. Right, but we're a little bit loose. So, again, if you have any comments for Mario, we're talking about insurance today.
Yes, sir.
And so the reason I wanted to bring you on is because I think I am the average confused person about insurance. The things if you ask me about insurance, if you come off on the street and you're like, hey, what do you know about insurance? I'm like, oh, I pay car insurance that I hate paying, but I got to anyway. And health insurance that I hate paying that I got to anyway. And that's all I know about insurance.
Right.
It seems like this like love-hate thing. Like you love it when you have it and you hate it when you have to pay it.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So give us a little example. What is insurance and what is it not, sir?
So insurance is obviously something, like you said, everybody hates to pay it. But when you need it, you're happy you've been paying for it. But it's a way to take off a huge liability from you if you end up, in a rough situation. You end up hospitalized. You end up diagnosed with an illness or an accident injury.
Yep.
So pretty much that's passing the buck on to somebody else once you've met some criteria. Obviously, there's some deductibles and some max out of pockets that you would have to meet in order for the health insurance to start helping you pay some of those bills. Yeah,
I mean, I think in a general sense, that's what I've picked up because I've used it in certain situations when I've had to go to the hospital or in my one car accident. I was very thankful I had it because they took care of, the rental car and some of the other components. And you do feel a little bit assured when stuff like that happens. I think the dismay comes from when you're paying every month and you're like, why am I paying this?
Right.
And it's like, and until you need it.
Right.
It's not until you need it. I've been paying for health insurance. So I have my own business, and we're going to actually talk about business insurance. But I've had my own business now for roughly about 5 years, give or take. And one of the things as a small business owner, you don't have insurance. You got to pay that stuff. You don't realize like how much a corporate job or working for somebody, how much they actually do pay your insurance or how much they pay out of pocket because it's crazy. It's amazing. Right. It's amazing crazy. And that's the part you handle, right? Is the health insurance part for small businesses?
Correct. That is correct. Yeah. For usually with people who have maybe 2, 3, 4, up to 5 employees.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much a group plan or a company's paying for your insurance until you have to pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah.
But it's part of being a business owner, right? It's part of being an adult.
Unfortunately, yes. When I go pay my taxes, they either take it out the front end or the back end.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's not a very pleasant experience either way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
More puns. That's right.
Right. And it's good though. It's always, especially as a business owner, right? We're always saying we're healthy. We don't need to be covered. We don't need to be paying that monthly premium. But think about it. If you have a family and you're a business owner, who's going to support your family if you end up in the hospital? Who's going to keep running your business if you're hospitalized? You're going to start losing money because nobody's going to manage the business the way you manage it. So with insurance, it'll help you out, right? It puts somewhat of a relief on you. So you'll say, hey, I know I'm paying for this. I don't want to. It's not something tangible.
Yeah.
I can't hold it. And if we can't hold something that we're paying for, then it's not good, right? In our eyes. Again, until you need it.
Yeah, and I think it probably affects those solopreneurs. I mean, I have and on payroll I have one employee, and I think it affects really those solopreneurs, like I was saying, for the health part of it. If there is a downturn, I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you're running yourself pretty ragged already. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever had less than a 14-hour day in the last like 4 years.
Right.
Even on the weekends, even on vacation, I'll be out in California, wherever. And I'll be getting calls and trying to filter those out because it's like I am the one in charge of the business.
Right.
And, it would just take one sweep or, one thing to happen, one car accident to just throw everything off. And I'm sure there's different policies, right? I mean, we're not really here to talk about the specifics about policies, but I'm sure there's enough to cover, expenses depending on plan for 6 months, 9 months, a year, all that stuff.
There's separate types of policies. There's short-term plans. There's plans that will keep you insured until the age of 65, because once you hit 65, then you have to go on to a different type of insurance.
Yeah.
But depending on what your budget is, depending on what you're looking for, then, you can look for a plan that may be 3 months, 6 months, up to a year. But, again, as a solopreneur, we always want to have that long-term care. So finding a plan that's going to cover you until the age of 65 is always a good idea.
Yeah. And on this show, we typically talk about finances and talk about how money works for you. Is there ways, and I don't know if I mean, we really didn't talk about everything you do. We talked a little bit. Mm-hmm. But is there ways to leverage off insurance for like wealth growth purposes or ways to do that? I mean, that you're aware of?
Absolutely. There's, as a business owner, you're able to write off a lot of the stuff that you're paying. Yeah. That has to do with the insurance, whether it's just your insurance premium or even doctor bills. Those are things that you can write off.
Yeah, I do those. Yeah. Whenever I go see my primary care, I have the ability as the head of the S Corp to write some of those bills off.
Correct. Yeah. And so even like for yourself, if you're paying the premium for your employee, that's another tax write-off for you. Right. So, I mean, no matter what, we got to pay the government one way or another. So why not help one of the employees out by giving them some good coverage?
Ryan, are you listening? Ryan's my tax guy. The funny thing is, like, you're supposed to know how your taxes work and all that stuff. I'm like, here, Ryan, can I get a deductible on this? No. Okay. Can I get a deductible? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So I really don't pay attention to taxes. The only thing I worry about with taxes, and I really should, because I think I'm failing in that part of my business, is really pay attention to where all the taxes are going and where at the end of the day when Ryan says, "Oh, you owe 10 grand," I'm like, "Ugh," mm-hmm. Or you owe 20. I'm like, "Ugh." Well, you made more money this year. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. You need to just see that money just out of the account.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. But again, we're here with Mario Gray from MG. Home insurance, health insurance.
Yes, sir.
And so we're talking about health and talking about the insurance part of your finances and exploring that a little bit. I invited Mario here because I'm fairly ignorant towards the whole insurance thing. And I wish I knew a little bit more. Again, the basics of what I've learned in my whole life is that you have to get insurance because you're told to. And you're forced to kind of into it. And when you're forced into anything, sometimes you just have a bad taste in your mouth. But really, it's there to benefit you. I would
absolutely
go off of that. But but if you're here and you're watching and you want to give any comments or ask any questions from Mario, I mean, that's especially if you're a small business owner and you're watching the show. Those health insurance specific questions. Again, it's one of those things we don't really take the time to really understand or get to know. And I think it's one of those things, just like me and taxes, I want to know more. I want to know where the money's going. I'm like, I know I trust this guy. I've been going to him for like 10, 12 years, and I don't feel like he's going to screw me over, but I probably should read what he does. You know what I mean? Especially every payroll. I get the whole payroll thing, and I'm like, okay. How much do I owe? Oh, shit. And then I go pay it, and then, okay, next month, because you're just so busy.
Right.
You're just bouncing back and forth from one issue to another issue. The more important things, the things that actually save you or make you money, sometimes you just neglect because you're just so busy thinking that you have to focus on that one part of the business. So that's my fault. And I think I'm not the only one out there.
No, you're not. So. Absolutely not.
So we did talk a little bit too about deductibles and max out of pockets.
Correct.
And I'm still, again, fairly ignorant to how that all works. I know that if I have an accident or something happens, I pay a small fee in order so I don't have to come out of pocket for a bigger fee.
Right.
So in my car accident example, I think I paid a $50 or $500, something with the five. It was either $50 or $500 deductible, and then they paid the rest. And I was able to buy a new truck after that accident. I was able to rent a car for about a week or so until they assessed whether or not the previous truck was drivable or not. And so that was a benefit at that point.
Right. Yeah. Well, the same thing happens with insurance. One of the misconceptions is I'll pay my monthly premium, and if anything happens to me, then I'm covered at 100%. Depending on the policy you have, majority of the time, that's not going to be the case. You still have to satisfy your deductible, which is what you're paying into before the insurance helps you pay anything.
Yeah.
Once you meet your deductible, then you start going into your co-insurance. Once you've paid your co-insurance, it can be an 80-20 split, 70-30, depending on what plan you signed up for. But then you reach your max out of pocket.
Yeah.
At that point, then the insurance pays your bills. Okay. I've ran into a lot of people that were a bit upset because they kept going to a doctor and they were still paying a small fee, but they were just saying, "Hey, Mario, well, look, I was on this plan and here's what was happening." So I pulled up their policy and I said, "Look, here's what you have and here's what happens. You're going to continue to pay until you satisfy your deductibles and or your max out of pockets. And then you'll be covered at 100%. Your visits that you're doing aren't that expensive. So it's not like you're going to stop paying this in the next few months. Now, something bad happens to you. Take, for example, majority of the max out of pockets would run into anywhere from $7,000 to $8,500.
Yeah.
Once you've paid that, let's say you had a bill for $100,000. I mean, I would definitely rather pay $7,000 or $8,500 max out of pocket versus having to pay $100,000 out of pocket. So that's the way most of those things work. And I was talking to you guys on why I got into insurance because I was in the same situation.
Yeah.
Ended up hospitalized for a few nights. Went back to work. 3 days later, received a bill for $10,000 from the hospital saying, "Wait a minute, what is this about?" Went into work, talked to my manager. We get the broker on the phone, and the guy says, "Well, yeah, that's your deductible." Yeah, that was pretty tough. That's where I learned, okay, wait a minute. Just because I pay this every 2 weeks doesn't mean that I'm covered at 100%. I think what was a bigger pain was that this accident or incident took place around mid-December. So the broker said, "Mario, I have worse news for you." I said, "What is that, sir?" He said, "Well, January 1st, your deductible max out of pocket reset." So that means, so that's another thing we have to realize. You meet a deductible and a max out of pocket, that's for the remaining of the year.
Yeah.
Right? The following year, it starts all over again. So there's things that you have to, I know we overlook it a lot of times when the insurance agent is talking to us.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, you always have access to either calling your broker or calling your agent or looking at the packet that you received so you can see how those max out-of-pockets work and the deductibles, what doctor visits are going to go towards your deductible because not everything goes towards your deductible. Medications sometimes are accepted as a portion of your deductible. Some aren't. So a lot of times, make sure you're looking at that fine print so you'll know what's helping you out and what isn't.
Okay. We had a question from the audience. Hank is asking, how much umbrella insurance should I have? This is probably a very specific question, and again, I think it goes down to like personal circumstances. I mean, we'll get into that, but the two questions he had were, how much umbrella insurance should I have, and then should your primary home be included in determining how much you need?
I think he's talking about a different type of insurance.
We're talking about health insurance, Hank. What are you doing? I don't know anything. I'm just reading the questions. We're talking about health insurance, Henry. But do you cover other insurances? I guess since we're asking,
we do.
Because I'm sure that comes up. Oh, you're an insurance agent. Oh, okay. Well, I got a car, and you're like, well, no,
right.
No. I mean, but is there a room or avenue to kind of ask those questions for you?
Well, no. All I do is health insurance, vision, and dental. Yeah. Once you're talking about insure my house, insure my vehicle, it's a different type of license, right? So Yeah, it's not involved with the health insurance. I know somebody that can help you.
Like a driver's license? I'm just kidding. I was being cheeky. So, Henry, if you have any questions, contact your home insurance person. And I guess that's another, probably leading into another question. Not all insurance agents have, they're not all there to service every single thing, right? They're very specific ones. Like in real estate, there's different brokers. Like there's some commercial, there's residential, there's people that do rents. I mean, and when you hear real estate or realtor, you automatically go and you assume they know everything about everything,
right?
And they don't. You know, they specialize in different areas. The same thing for a doctor. You know, you're a doctor. Oh, well, yeah, but I'm a brain surgeon. I don't specialize in feet,
right,
or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Whatever. So specifically health insurance, but and so you refer out when it comes to those questions.
Absolutely. I mean, even with me having my health insurance, if somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, Mario, I have 100 employees. I need you to help me out." That's something I don't take care of. So then I'll refer them out to somebody who does group plans, right?
Oh, so it's more of like the individual, like it's like somebody like me. Is that who you're focusing on?
Right. Somebody like you that has maybe 4 or 5 employees, families. Right. That's who we're working with. Some of the networks that we work with are on a PPO network. Yeah. So if you're somebody that travels out of state, that's a pretty good plan to have because the PPO network will travel with you nationwide. So that's a pretty good deal to have.
Yeah, and I guess the question too I had is there things that people misconceive about insurance? Like what like insurance? What is it not? Versus what what we talk about, like covering and making sure that if there's an issue or something, obviously it's going to pay or protect you or at least support you financially to a certain amount,
right?
Based on the circumstance. But is there certain things that insurance is not that people misrepresent or think that shouldn't be?
Health insurance is not life insurance.
Oh,
a lot of people think that because you have health insurance, they're expecting a payout in case something critical happens to you. Okay. I mean, take, for example, what just happened right now, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about health insurance, and then people start asking you about how much more coverage do I need on something different. It just takes one word to be misunderstood, and then all of a sudden you think you're covered on something else.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind, right? It's not a life insurance. It's not a liability insurance. If you have something happens to you in your vehicle, first comes your vehicle insurance and then your health insurance. So those are things that we have to look at.
And then I guess, is there like blanket policies that cover multiple areas, or just it's on one specific? And then if I needed to expand into different areas, I need to go and
it would depend on what insurance you get on.
Yeah.
So there's insurances where you can add additional coverage, right? Where you'll reduce your deductible, but now you're paying for something additional every month.
Yeah.
Right. It may not be significant, but now you're paying for something else. So if you have an accident injury, instead of you having a $7,000 or $8,000 max out of pocket, now you probably have like a $200 deductible if it was an accident injury, broken arm, broken leg, whatever the situation is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So again, we're here with Mario Gray from MG Health Insurance. Mm-hmm. We're talking about health insurance. So for all of you that are watching right now, health insurance, we focus on health. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and leave us a little heart emoji. Mario, if you want to give us a little heart, virtual heart, there you go. Yeah, there he goes. If you want to drop in those hearts, we appreciate that. It helps the algorithm. If you're on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button, because what else are you doing right now? You're just watching the show. But we're here talking about Mario, about health insurance and the things and different components of that. So again, going over the basics of health insurance, is there like things that and aspects of insurance when you're searching, I guess in regards to health insurance, is there certain things that you need to focus in on, or you would suggest focusing in on if they don't use your services or come to you?
I think one of the things on whatever insurance plan you have, it's important for you to focus also on the network you're in, okay? Because that has a lot to do with it. A lot of times you'll get on an insurance plan and the doctor you select does not accept the insurance. So that can be a burden, because all of a sudden you see all these bills in your mailbox and you're saying, wait a minute, what's going on? And you can continue to go to this doctor and you have no idea why you're still getting billed. Well, the reason you're getting billed is because they're not in network. Yeah. So that's something very important to
But I like Dr. Wu.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Dr. Wu's my
Yeah.
guy from Douglas. I don't know if he's still out there. He's probably still working. Is he still working out there? Oh, yeah, he's still working.
Do they take insurance out there in Douglas?
Who knows? It's all cash. Maybe.
Yeah. Those are very important. It's and it's easy for you to find out. I mean, you can call your broker, your agent, or you can just go online. Most of these plans have a portal where you can create and look for your doctors.
Yeah, I'm putting there. And so again, going back to kind of leveraging off insurance I think it's mostly life insurance that you can leverage off of. I've heard of plans, and again, I don't know if you know specifically because we clearly distinguish that this is not life insurance. But I'm aware of, or at least I've been told that there's life insurance out there that you can leverage off on if you do not term, but the other thing. I don't know. Whole life insurance, right. That eventually that you could leverage off that for like a loan or use that to benefit you in some way. I don't know if that's the same kind of capacity for health insurance.
It's not the same thing There are some options like that in life insurance, but health insurance does not have that option.
Okay. As we wrap up the show, I'm gonna we have a special guest joining us right now. Oh boy, he coming out from Sacramento. Yeah, he's late to the party. Everybody knows him as Sacramento Satoshi. Hold on one second. Let me get him on. Are you there, Sac? Oh, you're in green room. Why are you in the green room? I don't know. He's doing something weird. No. And, you might have to go back to you, Henry, because you're not coming up.
I like these headsets. They don't mess with my hair too much.
There he goes. I can't hear you though.
Oh, there we go.
Hello. Getting everybody on here. Hello, Satoshi. Sacramento Satoshi's on now.
Hey, Robert.
Talking about your Bitcoin wishes and dreams. We were talking about health insurance, Henry, and you bugged us about a umbrella insurance plan. What was your question about umbrella insurance? No?
I guess what was that?
You asked about umbrella insurance, but Mario's here to talk about health insurance.
Yeah, I guess
you screwed up, buddy.
Made a mistake.
So you're in San Francisco today, right? You're a world traveler, buddy. Do you have health insurance to travel this much?
I have health insurance through my work.
And that's what most people do, right?
Well, I have a question, I guess, related. Let's say you want to retire early, and how do you? Is there a simple way? I guess you just have to get health insurance until you're 65, right?
Correct. Right.
Pay out of pocket.
Yeah. Yep.
You'd have
to go out and look for a good policy that's going to fit your needs. That's one thing too, Robert. We got to make sure that when you're out there looking for health insurance, that you find a policy that is going to be a right fit for you and your family. There's people out there that have some pre-existing conditions. Yeah. And unfortunately, they run into the wrong type of person trying to help them out. And, there's policies that are, they're called guaranteed issued. And so no matter what the pre-existing condition is, they'll give you the policy. The only thing is, if you have a pre-existing condition and you end up at the doctor's office or the ER, they're going to look at your medical history. And if you got on a policy where they're not going to cover your pre-existing for a certain amount of time, and they can tie any of the doctor visits or whatever the case is into your pre-existing, a lot of times the insurance policy will not pay out.
Yeah, and I've heard interesting that you bring it up. With recent events with the cough, the major cough. There's certain words I can't say, otherwise YouTube flags you and starts getting mad at you. But the great cough of 2020. Mm-hmm. I've heard that may be considered as a pre-existing condition if you've had it and you have other ailments associated with that. I don't know if there's, I don't know if you can or verify that, or at least have you heard the same thing?
I have not. I have not heard of any insurance company, and I think it's because it's so early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know that they can tie anything, any insurance company can tie anything into the cough. Yeah. But no, as an insurance agent, I have not heard anything that would impact it.
Well, the next question I was going to actually ask Satoshi, because he does work for a hospital, and so because he would come across that. I don't think he does claims or anything. If there's anybody that does claims, is somebody that's here that we can't mention. Oh, there he's back. I'm going to ask him that question, though. He's in the green room. Here we go. Add left. You left us, Henry.
Sorry, Robert.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, my connection is not the best. I'm like in a park or something.
Yeah, you're enjoying yourself over there. But have you come across in the hospital? I was asking Mario if the Great Cough has been an impact regarding like service or plans, because typically like health insurance pays to a certain point, right? You're in the hospital. It's not like they let you die, because I think they have to make sure you're stable.
Right.
But if you're unable to be stable by yourself, then and your insurance runs out, you're just kind of left there, right? I don't know the end of that part, and I don't think we really ever talk about that part. No, so Henry, I don't know if the other person here would be able to answer that, because they do work at a clinic as well, but we went into that part.
I don't know. I know that if you're sick and you go to the hospital, they're going to take care of you. And then who pays the bill afterwards? That's a good question.
But I mean, for emergency services and these things, they stabilize you, correct? And if you're unable to sustain that stability in and of yourself, and you don't have enough for insurance, they just kind of let you hang out, right? I mean, there's really nothing more they can do.
Right. Well, you see that now a lot with the COVID. If you get sick and you go to the hospital, COVID.
The cough. Never mind.
The cough. You end up going to the hospital, and you're there for 3 months, and without insurance, that's one of the ways that people go broke. So that's why it's important always that insurance is basically protecting you from a disaster. I mean, that's why you need insurance.
I don't know if you've had any direct relation to that, but again, it goes back to that same question: Do the hospitals just like, hey, well, we can't do anything more, and I guess they leave that decision to the family, right? They kind of just let this person, we can't do anything more to this person. You've ran up the bill for 2 months. They're not really getting anywhere. They're probably going to go. I guess to that question, it's probably the families holding on longer, trying to kind of hold on, especially when they've come to the end, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know the answer to that. I mean, now I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, it's, if you go to the hospital, as long as you're capable of making decisions, you're going to make the decisions. But then once you, let's say you have to be intubated or something, then they're going to go to the family, and you can say, like, I don't want to incur any bills. I don't want to be burdened to my family. And then once you're intubated, if the family says, well, we want everything done, that's what they're going to do. So there's always a conversation that you should have with the family, and then is the people that are making the decisions for you going to go through with what you want. But the hospital's not going to force anybody to do anything. They all they do is present information and say, we're not sure that this person is going to do well. This is what we see. And a lot of times it's vague. So somebody could be in a coma, and people will say, well, is this guy going to make it? And it's like, well, we don't know. And so most family will, well, let's just do everything. They're always going to err on, let's take care of this person. And then the bill is always an afterthought. So then it's like, okay, now I got this bill. He was in the hospital for many months. How is this going to get taken care of? I have insurance. If I don't have insurance, can I get some kind of government assistance or something along those lines? But I'm not really too clear on how all that gets taken care of.
Yeah, I don't think you're in the claims part of that. You're more on the tentative care or the direct care related part of that. Do you ever run across that too, Mario? Do people ask you questions like that?
You know what? No, I've never had that question asked. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna pawn the bill on the spouse or the whatever living family member they can get a hold of. But that's definitely something to think about, even for people who are thinking about insurance, right? Because what if that is the case? Yeah. Somebody, I do pretty good. I just don't believe in health insurance. I don't want it. Well, what's going to happen if your family gets hit with the bill because you made a decision of thinking that insurance was not important?
Did that happen? The unverified source here in the studio could possibly answer that question. Does that happen a lot where the bill gets sent off? No, we can't mention that. Do they get the bill pawned off sometimes? Like to like if a spouse or it's Okay, so it depends on the situation. Sometimes they get written off, but so again, some more surfacing questions. Mario here's to talk about health insurance, business health insurance. Not necessarily just direct. I guess as opposed to regular health insurance, personal.
So it would be considered. I mean, it could be considered individual, family, and for small businesses.
Oh, okay. And is there anything to the whole family plan? Because like I know, like when I had, I don't have any kids currently that I know. But when it comes down to family plans, like if you're a single person, you pay. I'll just throw it out to 300, and then if you have a family, you'll pay like 700. But it doesn't really matter how many kids you have. Is there something to that? Because like if you have like 1 or 4 kids, it's still the same family plan.
In a group setting, in a group plan, you're right. That's the way it would be. It would be.
Why is that? Because like individually you pay like 300 and then or you pay another 300 for your spouse.
Right.
But if you do a family plan, it's just a blanket like 700, and you could have like 12 kids and it's still the same price.
Well, I'm assuming because as a group plan, I mean, think about it. You're gonna have, let's just say, you're gonna have 50 employees who are signing up for this insurance.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 of them are gonna end up using it. Right, so there's money that's still coming in, paying for those premiums. So that I'm thinking that's how they would blanket pay for the entire family if it's either employee, spouse, and how many kids you have. Yeah. But in an individual or a private plan like the ones I have access to, you're paying for each individual person. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's important. So as we're coming to the end of the show, do you like Bitcoin?
I'm interested in it. I hear it a lot.
So the Satosh, he's deeply into Bitcoin, and I might as well end up the show since he's on here talking about that. He's multifaceted. He has information regarding the health insurance, a little bit on his side of things, as well as Bitcoin. So, what's your go long and go short, Henry? And why? Ethereum, right?
Well, I think Ethereum. Oh, yes. In short. I think last week we talked a lot about like, I've heard a lot about this crypto thing. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And we kind of went over some of the reasons why I think it could be part of your portfolio. And then I thought about later, like, let's say somebody was interested in getting into it. How do I do that? Yeah. And so there's a couple different ways, and I think it kind of depends on. Like if you are using money that's in a 401k or an IRA, then your options are a little bit more limited. I think there is, what I would suggest is looking into Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is probably the biggest. And they also have they'll have like an Ethereum Trust. They have different kinds.
You're getting too deep into it, man. I lost you. Like can I give you my money and put it in Ethereum? But you're talking about leveraging off of those assets in order to buy, right?
No, this is just if you have money in a 401k and you want to buy Bitcoin, you can't do it. Yeah. ETFs are not approved in the United States. So the only way you're going to do it is through this Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That's what I'm saying. Now, if you have cash, let's say you have a little bit of money saved and you're thinking I want to do it, then you have more options. Then you'd have to open an app like Robinhood, Coinbase. Those are kind of the major ones. And I think I sent you a photo of the cryptocurrency market cap. I don't know if you have that.
Oh, am I displaying? Yes, I do. We're coming in the show.
In general,
too crazy.
Yeah. Don't get too crazy. So my suggestion is if you don't have any, so let's say Mario has none and he's like interested, like, hey, I want to buy a little bit, but there's thousands and thousands of coins out there. And how do you know like which one is which? One way to start is to look at the market cap of each cryptocurrency. And the biggest is going to be Bitcoin. And we've talked about this. It's kind of the biggest, the safest. So if you don't have any Bitcoin at all, I would start with that. And you can just Google search cryptocurrency market caps, and it'll list in order how big they are. And in general, the bigger a cryptocurrency is, the less risk. So if you get
I think so. Where Mario's at, from what I gathered, is that he's wanting to explore this. And when you talk about market caps, that's like
Okay.
that's a little bit too much for me too. I understand it a little bit because we do the show, but I think Mario emulates just about everybody that watches the show, and they're just like, I hear about this Bitcoin stuff. I hear about Ethereum. I hear about Dogecoin because that's in the news, and all these other things that may come up. And I'm like, I just want to park my money and make money. You know,
Right.
is that where you're coming from?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I want to know how it works. I just want
wants
to
to
know
make
that
money.
it works.
See, that's the sexiness part.
So-
I mean, it's like Vegas. Everybody wants to win, but then nobody wants to walk home with like $20 in their pocket.
Right.
Okay. Well,
So where does
I
Mario
would
start?
say you don't want to just trust. You always want to do your own research. So don't just, if I tell you to do something, you don't want to just, okay, well, this guy on the YouTube channel told me I should buy this. You have to put in a little bit of work and to see what you're buying. But the simple answer, and this is not like advice to anybody, but
We don't give advice.
you have to start. I would start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the biggest market cap. It's the biggest, the strongest, and we've gone over all the reasons why. If you want to get into crypto, buy some Bitcoin. If you want to be a little bit more risky, or you want to, then go Ethereum is number 2 on that list, and you can get a little bit of Ethereum. Like personally, for me, I have I would say I probably have, like, of all my crypto, I have like maybe 60% is in Bitcoin and 30% is Ethereum, and then the other 10% is divided into these little smaller coins. And so, and this is what I'm saying: these smaller coins are going to be riskier, so you don't want to put as much money. And if they do well, you don't need that much money in there.
Well, as far as your
And we can talk
overall financial portfolio, what percentage represents Bitcoin or these digital coins?
So currently, it's probably, of all the money that I have, it's probably like 3%. But my goal is to get it a little bit higher. I'm trying to. If you look at, like, basically you look at all the investments, real estate all-time high, stocks near all-time high, bonds are trash. Forget that. And you look at crypto, it's down 50%. So if you were looking around and said, hey, I want to buy real estate, and it's down 50%, might be a good time. You want to put a little bit of money in there. So that's what I would suggest.
So you're saying my TLT purchase, 5 shares of 20-year bonds were a mistake, Henry? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you know what we can do is we can put I just recently bought. I've been trying to get a little bit more Bitcoin. With the it's down more than 50%. You can put your TLT and I'll put my Bitcoin, and we'll compare them, and then we'll see over the next year which one does
I'm
better.
not going to make anything in TLT. It's like it goes up like 2%. I won't even take that bet because I already know I'm going to fail at that one. So, but anyway,
okay. So if you want to simplify it, if you want to get into crypto, go with Bitcoin. Don't go into anything with dogs or anything with memes. Don't even go near them. Just stick with the Bitcoin, the big guy, the big beast. And if you want a little bit more risk in there for more gain, then you go with some Ethereum. That's pretty simple.
And I think when you look at $32,000 a share, you can buy smaller shares of that, derivatives of that.
Right.
Smaller pieces. So I think sometimes you feel overwhelmed, like, hey, I want to buy a Bitcoin, and then I look at the price and it's like 32,000. I'm like, that's like more than what I have in my savings account. You can buy smaller pieces.
You should aspire.
You should aspire to be
Aspire
Henry
to get
Satoshi and
aspire to get at least a quarter to a half.
Quarter to half.
That should be your goal.
Oh. But on the dips, buy the dips.
Yeah.
I'll show Mario some charts after the show. We're at the end of the show, Henry.
Not investment advice, but it is a good time. Anyway, go ahead.
And again, I've heard anywhere from like 1% to 2% is a good portion of your portfolio to put into digital coins.
Okay.
And that's what I hear is an average. And Henry said 3%.
3%. Yeah.
So I mean, he's probably being a little bit more aggressive than others. But we're not here to give financial advice. We're just kind of here to share the moment. Today was more specific about. Oh, hold on. Today was more specific about health insurance and not just Bitcoin, but we threw them in there because the Satoshi came on. Mm-hmm. Talked about the hospital, talked about Bitcoin. So anyway, thank you, sir. Mario, great. Oh, shit. Hold on. Before I start that, I got to put your thing on. Hold on, Henry. Hang on right there. So if you want to find Mario and get information about your business and your business's health insurance, go to his Facebook page here at MG Insurance Advisor, facebook.com/MG Insurance Advisor. And that's his business page, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, but we're coming to the end of the show. We're here. We're all together. There we go. There's my income. So as we conclude today, we've learned a lot about insurance. If you want to go and contact us here at RC Network or contact Mario directly, we're here available. If you want to learn about Bitcoin, you can contact Satoshi if he's available, because, he's always somewhere. He's either in Hawaii, Sacramento, San Francisco. He's always somewhere.
At the park.
And he's trading on his phone right now. He's trading his Bitcoin.
Random.
But anyway, we'll catch you guys next week in the lunch hour, 12 o'clock. Tune in every Friday here at Finance Friday Frank.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you guys. Adios next week.